On the front page of this Nigerian newspaper, we can see the big story. Of course, everyone's talking about politics as we count down to 2023. And the big story this morning says, 2023, next president must be physically, mentally fit, say Catholic Knights. And the details of that on page 4. They urge Nigerians to vote for someone with character, competence, professionalism, and capacity. INEC can reprint burnt PVCs in 2 days, says Yakubu. Now, we know that we've been following the story. Unfortunately, there had been attacks on INEC buildings and there were some PVCs that had been burnt. Over 60,000 PVCs had been burnt. And they are assuring us that INEC can reprint these burnt PVCs in 2 days. Police react as court remands IGP Baba in prison for contempt. And we also have at the bottom of the paper, NAF jet bombs ISWAP's Lake Chad training camp, kills 24. Buhari says, Russia-Ukraine conflict compounding war on terrorism. And the final story this morning on the front page of This Nigeria, gunmen kill Labour Party women leader in Kaduna. I saw the story and my heart was in shambles. It was so sad. So sad to see that we would unfortunately still keep having conversations about this. Politics is gruesome and dirty, and now someone has lost her life just because she dared to identify with a party, dared to be involved, you know?
That's really heartbreaking.
Very heartbreaking. Anyway, that's all that we can take this morning on the front page of This Nigeria. Let's move to Nigerian News Direct.
All right, still here in Nigeria, the stories here say contempt court fires again, convicts IGP to 3 months imprisonment. The big question would be who gets to implement that court order. And of course, the Nigerian police force did put out a statement saying that they were not aware of any court order like that. It says here, right there, it says, I'm not aware of any court order, says the IGP. NPF directs legal unit to swing into action. All right. We are not introducing 5,000 naira notes, and that's from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The highest currency denomination in Nigeria currently is 1,000 naira. And of course, there were rumors that, you know, there would be 5,000 naira notes. And, you know, the CBN and Nigeria's government, of course, has stated why that might not happen or will not happen, you know, seeing that the value of the currency is very, very shaky at this point. Also, NDLEA arrests 1 of 2 wanted Abia drug kingpins. We can also find on the News Direct, NCC pledges gender equality in information technology space. And of course, if you've been driving around Lagos, it's something that you might get to see in certain areas on Lagos Island where big companies take it upon themselves to decorate the place, based on the Christmas season. So, of course, the last story here says UBA Foundation rings in Yuletide season, lights up Lagos Marina. If you've also driven across a road called Ajose Adeogun in Lagos here, Victoria Island, Lagos, you must also see Christmas decorations by another bank. All right, those are the stories on Nigeria News Direct this morning.
All right, Lionel, let's head over to South Africa, looking at the front page of the Sowetan. On the front page, we can see ex-MK soldier stabbed Wallace. Of course, this is a story that we talked about when Joe Hansen took the breakfast headlines. Insiders tell what could have led to attack on Hani's killer on the eve of his release on parole. Stabber also attacked by fellow inmates in defense of assassin. And, you know, if we talk about this, of course, we remember that Twirlos had said that black people and white people should live separately. And he killed South Africa's anti-apartheid hero, Chris Hani. He has been stabbed in prison, officials say. Now, the stabbing of Janus Swallows comes days before he was due to be released on parole. After nearly 30 years in prison, he's 69. He shot Mr. Hani in 1993 in a failed attempt to derail South Africa's transition from white minority to democratic rule. And we're moving away from that story. Lions of Teranga roar in last 16. They've roared into the last 16. This we'll be talking about when we look into sports this morning. Good news for us. Mob beats up deputy principal. Teacher accused of having sex with pupil on page 2. Ew. Yeah. Anyway, don't hold your breath. Pala probe too narrow, says the DA on page 4. That's all that we can take this morning on the Sowetan. Let's head over to Zimbabwe.
Now on the Newsday newspapers in Zimbabwe, just a few stories as always. It says here, government failing us, and that's from the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. The story reads that the ZEC has admitted failing to run elections properly, but has laid the blame on poor funding by the state. In its latest report on March 26 by-elections, the DC complained that it was poorly resourced to run elections, resulting in the electoral management body failing to even pay election agents. As of course, still talking elections across the continent, Kenya just concluded its own. It did not, run without any controversy. Of course, if you'd follow that story, Nigeria's elections come up sometime in February 2023.
IEBC too came under fire.
Yes, absolutely.
During the Kenyan elections, INEC is still being targeted. Yes, targeted by the civilians.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly really about how much confidence the Nigerian people have in the Independent National Electoral Commission. Are they going to be able to provide or, run free and fair elections without any hitches? Those are some of the things that Nigerian citizens will be asking in February.